I bought for on the cheap, you know. But of course, it's not just that. Over time, I brought some improvement and made it a very comfortable house. It looks very good. It doesn't look like some old battered thing. It looks very modern. But, you know, learning to do that is quite an initiation in itself. I'd never built before, so you have to figure out how you're going to do this, you know?
Oh, yes. My dad was a builder, too, and he built a couple of small houses, and it's quite an amazing thing to watch and then to experience it afterwards, and they're still standing today, so I guess he did a pretty good job.
So what that brought for me is that if I could manage to do that, I can certainly manage to do quite a lot of things afterwards, which gave me a lot of self-confidence into tackling all the other challenges that I've fallen on my lap afterwards.
You probably had to put in a well and till the land?
No, we get our water from with gravity through a pipe that is connected into a stream in the upper part of the land here.
Ah.
So no need for a well. If we go out of power here, we are self-sustaining. We can all heat. We have all wood stoves, and we have 440 acres of land, much of it being forested. So we carefully harvest wood for our wood stoves and construction wood as well. We have a little, we're quite well organized. There are 17 houses here, and about 30 people living here, plus about 10 kids. So.
Wow, what a wonderful experience. And everybody is pretty much of like mind in terms of...
No, we're all very different.
Okay.
Many are coming from, some people are coming from Germany, Switzerland, and some other places, and we are each very unique individuals. You couldn't. What we have the most in common is our desire to be self-sustaining. Grow our food and be independent.
Yes, I have that same desire, and it's taken me. I live on a few acres. But last year was the first year that I could actually put in a garden because there were pine trees that my father had planted in the whole. He just loved these Japanese pines and planted them everywhere, and so nothing could grow under the shade. Well, due to the drought and the change in weather, the Japanese pine beetle attacked all of the pine trees, and one by one they turned brown and just literally died in a matter of days.
Oh.
So within a month, I watched my whole property turn, into a big fire stick. So all those had to be taken down. And last year was the first year that I planted a garden. But I might be writing you privately for tips on, how to organize the garden and make it organic and all of that, if you don't mind.
Well,
I think that's really important.
Yes, indeed. It's part of having a lighter footprint on this planet. The more we take care of ourselves and not depend on things that are being imported from around the world, the better we are.
Absolutely. We've become accustomed to relying on the wheels turning, but it could take just one little glitch in the whole system to stop the whole conveyor belt from working. And we don't. My father went through the Depression, so he knew about it, and kind of instilled in me that realization that it's important to stay out of debt and to be self-sufficient as possible.
Yeah, it's proven to have that awareness, but at the same time, I wouldn't recommend trying to make such changes in one's life based on fear that things will go wrong. I think it's better to be motivated by the desire to create a better world for yourself and for your family and for people around you, it's more constructive, more inspiring to do this from that.
Very good point. Very good point. And it's actually fun.
Yes.
That's the best part about it is, when planting the seeds and getting your hands in the soil. And, even somebody living in the city with just a little tiny deck can put, some tomatoes out on there in a wine barrel, or they have them now where they grow upside down. And you can hang them from your rafters, and the tomatoes will come out at the bottom, and you just pick them. So,
I would add to that, beyond the practical aspect of being able to grow your own food, it's also about, when you start making such changes in your life, it's more importantly, it's about using the freedom we're being given here. We can make whatever we want with our lives. The moment we are on strong footing enough to do so and have developed our skills to a point where we can take flight and accomplish things. So instead of being pushed by the powers that be through whatever is influencing the people with the advertisement and so on, and the kind of lifestyle that is being promoted, we can choose, and we're free to do so, to do some amazing things for ourselves and for this planet. And in doing that, we become allies of life. We collaborate with the higher power that be, and not only become self-sufficient, but as you said, we have lots of fun doing that because we feel that we're really going into the right direction, following the flow of life towards what's coming ahead of us.
It sounds like you're talking about aligning with one's soul rather than the personality and the ego.
Yeah, of course.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah, the personality of the ego is a very useful tool. It's not a bad thing. It's just that it shouldn't be in the driver's seat.
Right.
It's just a seat.
Maybe in the baby seat in the back.
No, it's just a seat. It's just a car. It's just a car, All
right.
It shouldn't be driving.
So what do you think is one of the largest obstacles to our living peacefully without damaging the earth and each other? Do you feel that that's just our inability to realize that what we do to others we're doing to ourselves, or
Yeah, it's about that, but in relation to the earth itself.
Oh, yes.
What we do to the earth, we do to ourselves. And so for me, the biggest obstacle is the lack of connection, the lack of sentient, deep feeling connection with the web of life. There's a man by the name of Michael Cohen who was one of the founders of the Earth Rainbow Network, who has developed the eco-psychology concept, whereas you strive in everything you do to feel your connection with the web of life around you and within you. And once you have that connection established, you tend to think twice before hurting yourself, that is, hurting the planet. So I think that's the major thing. Most people live in a bubble, a technological bubble, isolated from real nature, especially today with the virtual world on the internet. People get lost in that. And if we go back with the wonderful analogy presented in the world of Pandora, whereas we are avatar, each of us is an avatar of our soul, and our soul is one. Of course, our soul each of our souls have individuated over the course of an incredible large period of time, but still all souls are connected as one. So that's why I say our one soul, and which is the creator that we were discussing about earlier, that deep force. So if you use that analogy to understand that the ego, your body, everything that is helping your inner awareness to interface with the physical reality. If you see things in that perspective and really allow your inner drive that comes from the source of your intuition, what thinks the words in your mind, what speaks the words through your mouth, and if you really come from that perspective all the time, then a lot of things will go smoother. And if you can convey that experience to other people, which can only be discovered through personal experience, not through the world of abstract thoughts and observing from afar. You really have to plunge into this experience and discover for yourself what it is to think and feel and be the soul that you are. And talking about that, I had prepared something which I feel is good to introduce here, if you don't mind. When I prepare, you were mentioning earlier that I write a lot of stuff that I network. Most specifically, I write for the global meditation focuses I propose, and there's a series of 12 equinox and solstice meditation that has been proposed recently, and in the process of preparing that and some of the things earlier than that, I came with this little sort of prayer, which I think encompasses in a nutshell what it is we've been talking about for the last few minutes, and it's just a few lines. If you don't mind, I'd like to read that.
I'd love to hear it.
So you've seen that, but for the benefit of those listening, it says this, and it's something that when I receive those things, I just go into total blank state mind, just feel the bliss that invades me, that tingles into my whole body, and I just let the words fall into my mind, and I type that, and that's what I receive. I'm a soul, a divine spark of the infinite that gave birth to this universe. I remember who I am and serve the greater purpose of life as one with all that is. I came here with many other souls to assist in the expansion of light on this living planet Earth. I accept to let love be the guiding beacon of my life and to shine its radiance in every moment. I am a soul, and the sole purpose of my existence is to be all that I am. So be it. So
beautiful.
That's it. Yeah, I think it really touches upon the key understanding that once more and more people get that, it's going to be a real earth-shifting thing.
And you seem to be hopeful that we will get it, that we will wake up out of our dreams and our daydreams and sleep, and start to realize those basic truths.
Most likely in the nick of time.
Yeah, right. That's what it seems like.
Yeah, we like clinchers, don't we?
Yes, we do. We like these scary rides that, right to the very end.
Yeah.
My favorite movies were James Bond movies as a kid. And, of course, James Bond got away with quite a bit, but he would swoop in and save the world in the last 5 or 6 seconds. And something about that always it struck me as being pretty cool. So we're down to about,
It seems to be an archetype that is weaved into much of our culture in Hollywood productions. That in the very end, something is going to set things right.
Well, unfortunately, we have to be the James Bond. We can't rely on.
We have to be that something, indeed.
And it seems like a lot of people are kind of waiting for one person to show up and just swoop us up, but it does take one person to start the process, and there's
a metaphor that I like very much. When the